Here to kind of do something a little different today. It's I've been kind of wanting to do a kind of like a segment on my channels uh, called Thoughts from the Gallows. One, I like the morbid title, and two, a little self-absorbed and pompous. But anyway, this is more along the lines of introspectives of myself and also looking at humanity, what makes us human, the things we enjoy. I want to do something on heroes and heroism eventually, and in-depth discussions about religion, so on and so forth. Because I'm more than just a gamer. I'm somebody that just enjoys. I enjoy questioning humanity and looking at it and all its flawed glamour. That's what I enjoy about humanity. So I want to try to get you guys to kind of see these things, to maybe open your mind a little, to see beyond yourself. Because we get so locked up in that thought of self that we don't ever try to question the reason why we do things. There's always a reason why we do things, however slight. Sometimes it's just some people want to watch the whole watch the whole village burn. Some people just do it for themselves. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of posing this to you guys. And this is also about how we search for meaning in things, whether it's want to become famous, whether it's religion, whatever. We all search for a meaning in something. I mean, I can't think of anybody that doesn't search for a meaning somehow, some way. It is human to desire for that, and I've got some notes right here that I've done, but for the most part, I want to try and do this completely and totally just unscripted. I've got these notes here so I can kind of keep myself on track, hopefully, because I tend to ramble sometimes. Like me noticing there's gray in my beard. That's lovely. But anyway, so I guess we'll get started. So I guess the reason why I decided to do something like this was, well, I wanted to kind of experiment and be off the cuff, try to be as open as I can. Most of the time when you script things and such like that, you put yourself in a box and you have got to say it this way, and you leave yourself no room to really expound. Or in the world of Twitch, of where I am now, people pop in and out. That's what people do. People talk. And you can't be as scripted on Twitch, which is something I enjoy. And I mean, I enjoy the actual raw nature of Twitch. So that's the reason why I decided to do this on Twitch and export this to YouTube later. Because if I want to get people on here, I would like to actually put their comments. I would like to engage with them and upload it on YouTube. But yeah, my goal is to provoke thought by provoking the status quo of the human element, to make people think outside their little boxes, to make you guys, as I stated before, think beyond yourselves. There's more out there than just you. I mean, we all struggle with that. Me, even being what I am, I still struggle with that. I try to think beyond just the lowly existence of Richard Gallows on this mud ball that we've got, but here I am. Sometimes I do well at it, sometimes I don't. I mean, it's kind of makes me a little bit of a hypocrite to believe in nothing, yet I'm a very materialistic person. I enjoy my video games, I enjoy my collection. But, and that's not my meaning. Not my video games. I just exist. But I came up with the idea after it's not something I'm very proud of. And I won't lie, I guess I kind of thought about walking away at some point. But I came up with the idea of this because I became discouraged with the growth of my Twitch channel and YouTube channels. I work a lot, and I also put a lot of work into this. So my channel not growing as much as I would like, I'm not a very patient person. Never have been. Probably never will be. So if I don't see steady growth, I become frustrated and things like that. And I took some time off so I wouldn't become so frustrated and burn myself out that I quit doing what I enjoyed. That's not what this is. No, this is not just for you. This is also for me. I enjoy doing it. It's my hobby. But I really started to get to the bottom of the problem when I was watching some fellow YouTubers. They were actually relatively famous. You know a bunch of them. I don't really even have to say their names. No, it's not Markiplier or anybody like that. I don't want to even be anywhere close to that famous. My God. I'd probably kill myself. Just kidding. Anyway, but I looked at them and I was like, man, I wish I could have that. I wish I could do that. I wish I could become that famous. Those guys put so much more work into what they did than anything that I've done. And plus, they've been doing it for like 8 or 9 years. So it's kind of really self-centered of me to want something like that quickly, because I haven't paid my dues yet. But yes, it was jealousy, and however slight it might have been, I also came to realize it's the human condition to want more than what you are. For it to all mean something, to become remembered, for everything to mean something. But I mean, I guess that's where it all starts, is right here. The want to believe in something more than yourself. I mean, let's face it, it's not easy to not only stare at your own mortality, but also know when you leave this mortal coil, eventually you will not be remembered. Unless you become more than a name or you believe in an afterlife. And that's a scary thought. I mean, it just is. Hopefully I'm not losing. I think my computer buggered up on me. But unless you this sucks. Anyway, forgive me, I'm becoming irritated with my computer. But I mean, I guess I'll just reiterate. It's not easy to stare at your own mortality, but to also know that when you leave this mortal coil, eventually you will not be remembered unless you become more than a name, or you believe in a higher power, believe in something else. Because what winds up happening, the human mind is not designed to just want to be nothing. It's just not. I mean, I want nothing in the afterlife. That's me personally. But for the time that I'm here, I would like to leave a legacy. And it's pompous. It's very, very pompous of the human mind, because we are, as a species, we are an infant species, and infants and children are very self-serving. We all want for something. We all want there to be a meaning, because our finite minds cannot handle the thought of simply not existing, because it drives us crazy. So I mean, so in some facet, we want our names to become like the Shakespeares and Einsteins, whose legacies have far outlived their names. To become like them. Shakespeare, he died hundreds upon hundreds of years ago, and his works have far outlived him. They have far outlived his name. And we as human creatures, we wish for something like that, to do something that outlives us. Now, some people, it may be doing like the guy that went to the moon or whatever. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Neil Armstrong, I think was his name. Yeah. I probably just discredited this whole talk, but we all want something like that, to be more than we are. So, I mean, we are such petty creatures that we can wind up squandering our whole lives for that, to try to become famous or try to become more than we are. Some people, I mean, there's guys I've seen that left high school that they wound up actually trying to form a band, thought they'd get famous, and wound up destroying their lives because of it. Wound up dumping everything they had into it, and become depressed by drugs and alcohol, that they lost everything. So, in their desire to want to become more, they wound up actually destroying themselves. And it's a very scary thought, to become nothing. And I guess in that respect, you become so target fixated on it that you destroy yourself upon it. I mean, it's really something to think about. I mean, we fill our lives with such pompous ideas of wanting for meaning. I mean, even as I stated before, even as an atheist and a nihilist as I am, I fall prey to it, because we are genetically programmed for it. We are genetically programmed to be this way. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't help it. I can't help it. Even as much as I try to denounce my programming as much as I possibly can, it still happens. So, I mean, whether it's become the next internet sensation, become the next, I hate him, I do, the guy kills me, but the next PewDiePie or Markiplier or whatever, we want to be something like that, or the next Shakespeare, the next Einstein, or if you're Joe Bob fucking Daisy Duke down the road just to continue your bloodline, that's genetic programming, whether or not you want to admit it. We are genetically programmed to reproduce. We are given that want to continue the bloodline because we have to continue on the species. If nobody had that, we as a species would just die out. I mean, it would just happen. Eris to Steve Aoki? I don't get what you're saying, brother. But I mean, we are such creatures that we are slaves to a want for meaning. I mean, people are scared of meaning nothing when they go. It's because their human minds lack the comprehension ability to see beyond ourselves. I mean, we just can't. We can't do it. Our comprehension is ever so finite. I mean, try to think about it, atheist or not. Try to imagine your existence and not existing. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. It's very off-putting to not to think about the instance of not existing, that your sense of self is gone. It's scary. It really is, because we have such a ingrained survival mechanism that we want to live. All creatures, human or not, have the desire to live. I mean, how else would you continue a species without the desire to live? If you didn't want to live, well, I guess that species would just simply not exist, because there would be no desire to reproduce. There just wouldn't be. I mean, I guess it's not even a human thing to necessarily search for a meaning, whether it's, I mean, I guess most creatures' meaning in life is to just simply reproduce. Whereas us sentient beings such as ourselves are, I suppose, a little more complicated. I mean, it's through the thought of our consciousness not existing, it's just so off-putting. I mean, but however, we do need the thoughts to continue our species, to drive ourselves forward. It gives us a springboard to continue ourselves on, to drive us forward. I'm not saying this desire to be more is a bad thing. I'm not saying that. It can be if you wind up letting it consume you. But that's with a lot of other things in life. You can just wind up absolutely demolishing yourself upon it. But I mean, that's also the reason why I believe that we believe in deities. The reason why that they became a thing was our desire to the answer to the question of why. I mean, take lightning for example. Early man was scared of a storm, lightning, wind, rain, thunder. I mean, think of that back then. I mean, we as creatures, we did not have housing such as this. I mean, we had tents, and if we had any form of shelter, it was barely existent. So imagine how scary that would be to be out in the middle of the forest and be fucking caveman out in your fucking cave, and outside you're seeing the whole world looks like it's coming to an end. Scary thought, right? I mean, of course, we got science now, so it's a lot less of a mystery of why lightning is. It's raindrops causing friction between each other and creating lightning. But to early man, the Norse created Thor. They believed every strike of his hammer on the anvil was a lightning strike and thunder. That's how Thor came to being. Humanity wants meaning to everything. You cannot help it. It is a human desire. I mean, we fear death, so we create gods of death. We created the Grim Reaper. We created Hela, we created Hades, we created all these deities just to at least create some form of a meaning. It is the human condition to search for meaning. And as I stated before, do I believe it's a bad thing? No. Just our programming. I mean, a machine program can still do great things. They can do horrible, horrible things. I mean, take Hitler, for example. He believed his meaning was to wipe out the Jews. As horrible of a thing as that is to say, it's true. I'm not condoning him. God damn, no, I'm not. But it goes back to the thing of humanity. We are such great creatures. We're full of such great benevolence, but we are also full of we are so corruptible. We are so full of such malevolence as well. I mean, I guess the point of this is also be careful what your meaning is, what you're searching for. I mean, be the best human that you can be, but also don't fall prey to a search for meaning. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thought. It's an interesting way to view things. Just kind of a little bit out the box. But I mean, my meaning is different from yours. Now, hopefully yours is not genocide, but I guess that's just what I wanted to get at. I wanted to kind of try to do something a little different than what I usually do on here. But as always, guys, I want to leave you with this. Hopefully you like that thought. And yeah, if you wind up seeing this on YouTube when I export it there, hope you like it. If you do, click follow or subscribe. Sorry. Click subscribe. Ding the little bell so you get notifications when I upload new stuff if you like the video. And also like the video as well. And also on Twitch, find me on there under Director Gallows. Click follow, ding the notifications, and also on Facebook. So, but anyways, guys, as always, I hope you like what you saw. And see you next time on the next stream in the next video.